We're live. It's official.
Hi guys.
All right, so while we're waiting for people to get on here, it recently snowed. What do you think about the snow?
It was cold.
It was cold? Didn't you like it?
It was pretty waking up to the next day, but it was a little too late in the evening for us to actually enjoy it.
Say that again?
It was too late in the evening for us to enjoy it. We were putting Ellie to bed.
Oh, that's true. It happened
So it was nice the next day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We took Ellie out there, so she's seen snow before, but she really liked that one. Made some snowballs. You didn't make snowballs.
We didn't do that. He's lying.
Ellie and I did that.
The next day.
And didn't you say you liked the drive?
Yeah, I had to go meet somebody the next day, and it was really pretty. The drive was I was like, wow, this is really pretty.
We were literally in a winter wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're talking about how Bella Byers got started. So how did it get started?
So first of all, the name came up because our daughter Elia's middle name is Isabella. So when we were trying to think of just a name for our company or what we were going to call our investment portfolio, we decided Bella, short for Isabella, which kind of just represents Elia and our family.
Right.
So that's kind of how the name came about. That's how it came about. But at the end of 2015, we both decided on our honeymoon. So anyway, background story. Marco and I both had real day jobs. We were both employed by other companies. He was doing real estate investing with a local company here in San Antonio as head of acquisitions, and I was working for another company doing project management. And
you just loved it there.
I mean, the company and the CEO, everyone for the most part was great. I just wasn't necessarily happy.
Because you were working with someone else.
Yeah, I was working for somebody else, and anyway, we don't have to get into that. But I wasn't super passionate about it, so we just decided that actually on our honeymoon, sitting by the pool in the Bahamas, that I was actually already quitting my job, but Marco had decided we had already planned that Hillary was going to quit her job, and I was like, baby, I got you. I'll support us. It's all good. Because I've been in real estate a long time. I had been supporting myself for a long time independently in real estate, and I had joined a local real estate investment company because I did a lot of business with them. They asked me to join them, so I ran their acquisition team, and so I actually took a position there where I was working for another company. Mm-hmm. So she was originally going to quit her job. She had put in a long... I give a 3-month notice to help transition, because I was the only person in my company doing what I was doing. So I wanted to make sure to really give them the respect and the time to transition to somebody to transition somebody into my position. And so when we went on our honeymoon, I was actually officially done with work, and it was super exciting and such a freeing feeling about to go on our honeymoon, enjoy our newly married life of 1 month, and then know I'd never had to go back to that job was really exciting. And funny enough, we also just found out the week before, 5 days before that, I was pregnant with Elia. So that was a very scary adjustment to just get married, to get pregnant immediately pretty much from the wedding, and then
when we do something, we do it hard.
We go all in.
All in.
No pun intended.
Great.
Anyway.
Good job, baby. Nicely done.
Anyway.
Good pun.
So anyway, we got married, found out I was pregnant, went on our honeymoon, and then as we were sitting by the pool, Marco was reading a book called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and he put his book down, and I remember exactly how we were sitting and what we were doing and what we were wearing, and he looked at me and he just said, right, I want to quit.
Were you to the left of me or to the right?
To the right of you.
Oh, yeah?
Anyway,
dang, you do
he's just really good at interrupting. Anyway, he looked at me and said, I want to quit my job, and it was really scary but exciting at the same time because, before when we were both working our jobs, he worked a lot of hours, I worked a lot of hours, so we really only got to spend only a couple of hours at night, being together, and then sometimes on the weekend when he wasn't working. So
yeah, so we were always at that time while we were with our other jobs, we were trying to acquire our own investments, But
which didn't work out.
Honestly, it didn't work because we were doing part-time of part-time. When by the time we got home, you know, we were tired and lazy.
Well, we had to cook. We would try and work out. We walked the dog and went to bed early so we could wake up at 6 o'clock and start over with the job the next day. And it was just exhausting trying to do investment stuff with a full-time job.
So we had already planned for you to quit, but what really gave me the perspective to quit as well was, you know, I'd always been in real estate. I had been independent for many, many years, and then decided to join this company. And when I was in that company, I was working really hard to build their company and get, excuse me, get contracts. Hold on.
Well, he was working really hard, and I was missing him, and so we just decided it was time to make a change. It was now or never, especially with a baby coming.
Dramatic pause. All right, we should give, there's some sad faces for that. Okay, so to leave everybody hanging on that, basically, I had done a lot of reflecting, and being on our honeymoon and reading the book, I came back to the realization that I just couldn't work for somebody else. If I worked for somebody else, I wasn't going to be able to control my own income. And secondarily, now that I was newly married and had a baby on the way, I wasn't going to be able to control my time either. And time was a valuable resource that I needed to get more of. And what it seemed like is I was getting less of it because I was putting so much into the position I had in the company I was working with at the time.
And I wasn't happy about that.
No, you weren't. And so I was doing a lot of being on the honeymoon and being in the Bahamas with the beautiful view and the palm trees and the wonderful sky and the blue ocean. You know, there's a lot of time for reflection, and you need to incorporate the reflection times in your life so that you're always, if you're getting off track, you can reevaluate and get back on track. But for me, I realized that for me to control my future and the future that we were trying to create together, it was something that we needed to build ourselves. So I decided to quit my company. This was all at the end of 2015.
This was the very end of October 2015. So I was already done with my job, like we mentioned, and then Marco went back to work after the honeymoon and told his people at his company that he was going to give them till Thanksgiving pretty much. So he gave another month, and then we had December. Both of us were free in December, but because of the holidays and there's a lot of stuff going on, we kind of just started the process but didn't really take off running with Bella Buyers or our investing until January 1st of 2016. So now that we're coming to the end of 2017, we've done this for almost 2 full years, and it's exciting because you can you think back. I mean,
look how thrilled you are every day.
I mean,
big smile every day.
It's really hard, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy or fun all the time. I mean, we've done a lot of sacrificing of events and fun things going on. I mean, I would love to go have happy hour frequently or to the movies. I mean, we've seen like 3 movies in like 2 years. As far as like going to the theater. So there's a lot of sacrificing on our part.
We saw Coco. You should watch that one.
Definitely see Coco. It's really good. But we've done a lot of sacrificing on our part with friends and hanging out with family to really just work hard. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, like there are times that we'll go and enjoy the farmer's market in the morning. But at the end of the day, we don't take a whole weekend off. I mean, we don't really spend a whole lot of time on ourselves.
Yeah, we're constantly working, but we're doing that so that we're sacrificing now to build the future that we want. So since we started 2 full years, we've purchased 20 properties in that time frame using private money.
None of our own funds at all.
Yeah, and our cash flow has gone from 0 through to a pretty significant amount now with these properties. Of the 20 properties that we've purchased, we've held on to 17 of them, so we have a 17 property portfolio right now. And going into next year, we're looking at multifamily. So, hey, if you want to be an investor yourself or a private lender or want to get into multifamily deals, we're looking for people to work with us. Anyway, so we've had some pretty good success. There was some scary moments. We had to we had to close some doors to open new doors. But it was something that we really, with a new marriage, a new daughter, new child in our life, and new business, it's been a whirlwind of change and new excitement. Mm-hmm. But with our focus and our continued effort, we've been able to move forward in a positive direction. So I wanted to give one good mental change that we both made, but even more so for me as well, that really allowed a lot of success to occur. So I've been in real estate going on almost a decade now. While being in real estate and real estate investing particularly, I've been a real estate agent, finding investment deals for other people. I've been a wholesaler, finding deals for other people. And then like I mentioned previously here in this video, I worked for another company where I ran their acquisition team. We had a team of up to 9 people at one point, just finding deals over and over and over. And I was helping build that company. And the mental shift that I made that we did together was that we needed to look for properties ourselves, and we needed to believe that it was a reality and that's something we could achieve. There was a lot of mental barriers that I had particularly that really would stop me. I would tell myself, hey, I didn't have, how am I going to fund the deal? I don't have enough money to do a full transaction, or, I don't have enough experience to do a deal, even though I've done tons of deals. It's these mental things of yourself telling yourself that you can't do it or it's not going to work, or, you find a good deal and then you have the analysis paralysis where, what if this goes wrong, or what if the numbers don't work out? And by just shifting my brain and saying I can do it, what that allowed was for me to change my conversations with people. So whenever after we quit and we started Bella Buyers together, whenever we went to networking events, whenever I talked to people on the phone, even with new people, when you're kind of doing your elevator pitch, the conversation shifted from what we used to do, to now what our new venture was, which is we are real estate investors. We're always looking for private money, and we're looking to work with people to do deals together. And by doing that and mentioning it over and over and over, we found private lenders that were willing to invest with us, that trusted us to give us their money for a solid rate of return to be able to do deals together. And by doing that, the world has kind of opened up. We've acquired a lot of properties in a short amount of time, and now we're looking to the future to do even bigger projects. But the mental shift is basically believing that you can do it, and then changing the conversations you're having with other people to kind of create the reality that you're looking for.
I had a similar mental shift. My mental shift really stemmed from coming in to this world of real estate without having any real estate knowledge past like watching HGTV and like knowing I liked renovations and houses, and I had like a passion for that.
What's your favorite HGTV show?
It depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Oh,
I really like Fixer Upper. Obviously, I like seeing the transformation.
Everybody likes that one.
But I really like also House Hunters, especially House Hunters International, because you just get to see some really interesting houses out there with like in different areas. So like, houses here in Texas, you could spend very little money for a huge, gorgeous house, but in DC, you're not going to get as much for your money, or other places like that. But aside from that, my mental block was really just thinking like, well, Marco has all this knowledge and I don't know anything. So I really had to tell myself that it was a progression. I have to take it day by day and learn what I can. And looking back now, 2 years have passed, and I've learned more in 2 years than I've ever learned in my life. And I have a degree. I have a BFA from a really great art school. And I truly feel like I've learned more than I've ever learned now. So my mental block, part of it was the pregnancy, like just feeling like the emotions and the hormones, and some days are good and some days are bad. Some days you feel really terrible. In the pregnancy, which luckily was not often, but
you were a good pregnant lady.
Did happen, but
you weren't too cranky.
It wasn't cranky necessarily. It was just like some days I didn't feel good, or some days I had less energy than normal and I just didn't feel good, or I didn't sleep. Sleeping during pregnancy is terrible. But my mental shift was like, I still need to push through and persevere through this change in my body and through this like emotional thing that I'm going through to really make this business work. And there were definitely times where Marco and I clashed, and he wanted more for me and I wasn't giving enough. And I think a lot of my mental block just came from like, well, he's got like 10 years of investing on me and I don't know anything. So like I'm starting from zero, and here he is over here with all these expectations of, well, you just need to know because we're doing this together. So just looking back, I don't know, I think I just had to tell myself, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm doing, and it's a little scary, but I have a good supportive person who's going to help me in the right direction and teach me the things that I don't know.
What was the shift altogether? Was it all at once? Was it over time?
It's definitely not all at once.
Get the confidence.
I think for me, it's really scary when you don't know how you're going to make money, especially when you're going from where we were both making I was anyway, making set income, bi-weekly or whatever, to not knowing how you were going to make money or how you're going to pay for rent or how you're going to get groceries. We had no security around money. And that's a really scary thing to do for a lot of people, and that's a main cause and reason why a lot of people don't take this chance. They're held back.
I think you were okay because I told you that I'd dance if it came down to it.
Well, I just trust Marco. I trust in him as my spouse and as my partner, as my best friend, that he's not going to lead us down the wrong path. And so I put a lot of faith into that. And so far, 2 years later, I mean, we are pretty successful. We're not where we want to be, but I think for me, it was really just like seeing the slow progress. For me, I have a hard time with patience. I'm very impatient. So I'm like, I want to go do this investing and be wealthy right out the gate. And that's not how it happens. It's a slow progression. So when we got our first when we got our first property, I saw that as a mini success. Then we got 2 more properties, and now we have 5 properties. And so it was like, okay, this is really working and we're making money from this. So this is a good thing. And we evolve over time and we change our systems and we make things easier and more efficient. So now really just looking back, 2 years have gone by and we're at 20 houses purchased with none of our own money. And our investors are happy, our private lenders are happy, and here we are just successful. So it's really, for me, was just seeing the when Marco like writes it out for me, because I'm a visual person. He can talk all day to me and I'll get a little bit of it, but if he shows me on paper like, this is where we're making this money and this money and this money, and how it can evolve into this big thing with multifamily, I mean, all of that kind of took some time for me to grasp, but it makes complete sense what we're doing. So I have nothing but faith that we're doing the right thing and we get to do it together, which is so exciting. I love being with him. We're together like 98% of the time. We're together like all the time, which most people can't do. But when you have the right partner and you're trying to go for the common goal, it's really fun to be with each other.
Now you're dangerous. Now you know more than most investors.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. Like I said, I read a lot. I'm just learning. So, yeah.
So we just wanted to share this, how we got started. We kind of just jumped right into it. Mm-hmm. We had a little bit more secure positions, but ultimately we looked at where we wanted to be at the end of our lives and did reverse engineering to determine what we needed to be doing now to get there. And now we're working on it, and we understand that we're sacrificing now to have a more brilliant future. And tell us, we shared some of our mental blocks and how we did some mental shifts. What are some of the mental blocks that you might be experiencing now or have in the past that you overcame? I'd be interested to see that. I think that'd be great. But thank you for watching, and we have more videos coming, so thank you.
Have a good Monday.
Yeah.